Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us on another episode of Marching Forward with Flow. This is our second episode for 2024, and I am joined today by our wonderful guest, Kimberley Forde, a leadership coach, trainer, agile consultant, and a professional Kanban trainer based in Barbados. So today you have two professional Kanban trainers, myself, Andrea Pratt Smith, your host for today, and Kimberley Forde joining you for this conversation. And we're just basically going to go with the flow. So you have two island girls, and we're going to be talking about everything Kanban and anything else that you want to talk about. So thank you so much for joining us. So Kimberley, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, Andrea. Hi, everyone that's here. Well, as Andrea said, I'm from Barbados, and I love it here. I love being a Kanban trainer and working with teams, helping them to be successful and making sure that their flow works for them, right? No stoppages anywhere around as much as possible. So happy to be here, Andrea.
Thank you so much, Kimberley, and it's a pleasure to have you here. I've wanted to have you on one of my episodes of Marching Forward with Flow from last year. And actually, last year we just did 6 episodes, and it was kind of just an experiment to see how it will go and how persons would respond to it. So I'm glad that you're finally on the schedule and you're here with us today. So I have an interesting fact to tell you. When I was in Kenya last year, October, I went to the PMI Africa conference and I was meeting so many people. And when they said, well, which country are you from? And I said, Bahamas. They said, oh, that's where Rihanna is from. I was like, no, that's Barbados. So how do you feel about having Rihanna as a native of Barbados?
Oh, it's wonderful. And I think what she's doing is fantastic. And the mere fact that persons all the way in Africa are noting us. And because of that, I think that is even greater. Any way to gain knowledge from persons overseas about our country is wonderful. Yeah. So I'm glad that she's able to do her thing. And hopefully we'll be able to do our thing too, Andrea.
Yes, well, hopefully so. But I so wish I could have claimed Rihanna and say she was actually from the Bahamas. So I just claimed her as part of a Caribbean. I call her my Caribbean sister because we're all related in some way or the other.
Yes,
so yes. I don't exclude Rihanna from being a part of what we do in the Caribbean. So she's our sister. So let's just claim her. We all have a stake to Rihanna. So how about you tell us a little bit about how your training is going and building awareness in Barbados is going? Like, is there momentum for Agile training, or are you experiencing a lull? What's going on in the world of Agile ways of working in Barbados?
I think that especially since the pandemic, and persons realize that they need to find a different way to be able to get things out quickly and to learn from experiences and move with the market, that persons are now, should I say, more interested in finding about Agile and understanding how to utilize it. It's still a little bit low with regards to actually having it in practice, because most persons are accustomed to traditional project management, etc. So, you go where your habits lay, right? What's easier to you. But I think that as persons get to learn more about it, they would be able to utilize Agile frameworks and mindsets a little bit more. So with the training, we're hoping that persons start to, dip their feet, get it wet, and see how it can assist them in their companies and in their work environment so that they can succeed.
Yeah, I agree with you, because I'm having the similar challenges in the Bahamas, and the tip of the iceberg is one thing, but that big chunk of ice that's below the iceberg, and that's what I call building awareness of agility in a country that is so traditional project management centric. Like, you're dealing with persons who feel that project managers are all men. So when you have those type of thinking, so you have those type of thinking. So it's different from working in different markets where persons are used to agility and agile coaches and scrum masters and all these different roles. But when you're coming from an island nation where they just know project managers and they associate it with construction sites, it's such a challenge to try break through that mindset and to let them know that there's so many different ways of working in the agile space and not just as a traditional project manager. So what efforts have you been doing outside of your organization, or have you been doing anything outside of your organization to build awareness in Barbados about agile ways of working?
Well, we've been trying to hold meetups using the Caribbean Agilist meetup in efforts to get persons to learn more about Agile and Agile ways of working. We've also been having, community meetups on ground, so physically going meeting persons and showing them how things can be done, and also having classes for free, bringing persons in and giving a little tidbits and training on different agile frameworks and Kanban and the works to kind of open their understanding of the possibilities that are out there. And I'm also recently started assisting with another group trying to get new persons starting their careers or in university or in secondary schools to start understanding, hey, there's a role called a product manager, product owner, scrum master, agile coach, and these other type of roles. So when they start to think of their career perspectives, they have all these other things in mind and not just the traditional, careers that they hear about in this region. So I'm hoping that using, the Strive Network and the first mentorship program and other programs that are out there, that will be able to spread that knowledge about Agile and the possibilities for the future with the youth that are coming up.
Yeah, that's amazing. I've been doing some work in the Bahamas myself, trying to build awareness. But what I've found that has been really beneficial to me is the introduction to flow workshops. I did one last month with two different organizations, and they were really blown away just by introducing flow concepts and the flow metrics, and just to give them like a bite-sized version of the APK, the Applying Professional Kanban certification course, because I find that persons are more willing to pay $100 or $200 to attend a workshop versus you trying to convince them to pay $1,000+ for a certification training course that they have no concept how they can find value in it and how they can apply it to their work. So do you think that in Barbados you could see where possibly running some introduction to flow workshops may be beneficial to you getting persons to sign up for the APK training?
Yes, I have. I've thought of it, and I've done a few, one or two here and there, and with persons in private and new business owners. Additionally, we also have those small batch certifications that I try to let persons know about, and we just had a new one come on stream this week. And hopefully, they will be able to do those and get a little taste of what is entailing in these certifications and have interest to actually do the training and learn more. So those are two aspects I'm actually like working on and trying to push to get others more, involved in doing it.
I actually just took the one of the small batch certifications that were just recently released by prokanban.org.
Okay.
And actually persons, I don't know if they know that they are even out there as yet. So I'm going to do my part as far as marketing them and letting persons know that they're free. They're absolutely free to take. They give you a list of a few resources that you should possibly review before you sit the 15 question assessment. And then at the end of it, once you're successful with an 85% or higher score, you get a certificate. Say that you have some concept of Kanban, whatever focus that small batch certification is on. So I think that's really good on prokanban.org's part to build awareness to what Kanban is all about. But anything else you want to share with us? Like maybe like what is your hobby? What you like to do when you're not being a leadership coach and trainer, all these other titles?
Well, I love to take retreats. I love to go retreat, and I also love a lot of water sports. Trying to cut down on that right now, but I love water sports. I love water skiing and those type of things. So I love to do that and retreating and just spending time with my family. I have two girls, so they love drawing and they love adventure. So I love being involved in those type of things as well, and being involved in my church community. So I assist there on a regular basis.
That's great. We sound similar when it comes to the church activities because I've been involved in church ministry for over 20 years as a youth leader. So I actually got my start in project management being a youth leader and having to
Okay.
set up different retreats and camping
Mm-hmm.
programs and fundraisers. And I was doing project management work before I even knew what project management was. So, and it all started in
Yes.
church ministry, trying to organize all these different events. So I'm really glad to know that you're also active in your local church. But
Yeah, very, very much involved. They've been doing it from small. We've been brought up in church, pathfinders, etc. So, as you've been a youth leader, I've been too, leading the AOA department for my church when I was younger, coming up, and then branching off from there into different departments and community groups. So, I think it's good. It helps us to stay grounded, and I think that the time you put in there, God rewards you for it. So, yeah, I think it's a wonderful point as you made before that give you, a sense in your career, like what you wanted to do even before you know that it was a career. It gives you that understanding and like how to hit the ground running when you actually finish the certification. So the experience was wonderful.
yes, I agree. I totally agree. I love working in church ministry and seeing, especially as a youth leader, because there's a lot of young men who I mentored along the way, and now they're grown men. And I find a lot of pleasure knowing that
Yeah.
I had some part in kind of molding them and counseling them and guiding them with that
Mm-hmm.
mentorship, and that it kept them out of trouble. And now they're productive citizens in the Bahamas, and they're not contributing to any crime issues. So that gives me a sense of pride and purpose to continue to do the work that I don't even feel as though it's work, because I have so much passion for it. So I freely serve. But that's all well and done, because that whole service and ministry is what being in the agile space is all about: servant leadership
Yeah.
and being able to be somebody who leads willingly and with a servant's heart and not looking for anything in return. So I think for me that was a natural calling. It's nothing that I had to really think about or deliberate on for a long period of time. It's just a love for people and wanting to see them excel. So that's awesome that we have that in common. But I want to take a moment and just recognize that we do have a listener. And if you want
Oh,
to come on the
nice.
stage and ask a question or give us a comment or anything, you can raise your hand and I'll bring you on stage. But in the meantime, Kimberly, can you tell us a little bit about what you have in the works right now? What's in your backlog?
I love the word of the use backlog. So for me currently, I'm having some trainings on the calendar. So providing trainings for, just the applying professional Kanban, the applying professional metrics, and the skill Kanban course, as well as the flow metrics with Kanban. So I have those on the horizon, as well as some work with some organizations to help them get up to speed. Obviously, if persons are interested in joining, you can just send me a message and I'll let you know, especially if you're from the Caribbean. We can talk about how we can make things easier for you to attend so you can get your foot wet and see what's going on and what you can learn and glean from it. And, Andrea, just in general, just making sure that I assist in helping promote agility in the community. Additionally, I've been helping with the New Orleans event that I'll be having for Scrum Gathering and some other items like that. So really and happy to see persons join, whether it's the classes or the meetups group, the Caribbean Agilist meetups group, or even reach out and say hi and we can have a conversation. Maybe you want sounding board on something or to find out how Agile could assist you. I'm happy to help.
Oh, that's wonderful, Kimberly. So when you mentioned the regional, is it a regional or global Scrum gathering in New Orleans? Are you speaking at
Yeah.
that or are you just attending?
No, I'm not speaking. I'll be attending and I've been assisting, with the review process when they bring in papers, etc. And hopefully I'll be able to join the Scrum team soon.
Okay, that's awesome. That's really awesome. I'm looking into attending a few conferences this year as well. Um, I would really love to go back to the PMI conference in Africa, because that was
Oh,
a once in a
nice.
lifetime experience, and my family didn't get to travel with me. So my husband and my daughter was like, okay, if you get an invitation to go back and speak to a conference in Africa, make sure to take us with you. So they're hoping that that pans out. But they're having it. PMI is having the conference in Africa in November this year in Rwanda.
Oh,
So
nice.
that's coming up. That'll be coming up very quickly. And then PMI also have a lot of other events scheduled. So I'm paying close attention to what's happening in that space. And also in the Scrum Agile space as far as their conferences as well. But Kimberly, just to find out from you, are you involved in any other um community of practices besides the one that you mentioned? Like are you are a member of Women in Agile, is that correct?
Yeah, so I'm a member of Women in Agile, and I know one time we were working together to organize Women in Agile Caribbean. So sometimes I attend their events. Also with the PMI that's in the Sovereign Caribbean, I'm a member of that, and I get involved in their events. I volunteer with them sometimes. Additionally, I work with the Collaboration Superpowers team, where they try to help persons to get accustomed and normal and know the best ways of working remotely and in hybrid situations. So I do a lot of work with those, and I also involved in ADHD Vision, which is a team that was working to build a community of persons with ADHD to help them to be more productive and to get, all their goals achieved. So those are some of the other communities I'm involved with. And then recently I'll be assisting with the Aspire Barbados as they are trying to help NGOs to be, more efficient and productive in their own spaces. So those are some of the other communities I'm involved in outside of just the, Agile sphere.
That's amazing, Kimberly. You sound like you have 48 hours in your day.
Well, Andrea, you know how it goes.
I know, because persons ask me, sometimes they would say, well, I see you everywhere. You're doing everything. Like, do you have more hours than everybody else? And I'm like, no. I just wake up earlier than everybody else and I get my day started a bit earlier.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
So while everyone is sleeping, I'm up working. So that's how I'm able to get more done in a day. But I think when you really have a passion for what it is that you do, it doesn't feel as laborious as if you're being forced or you feel compelled to just show up to a job, because passion gives you energy, and I've found that over the years working with people, I love to share knowledge. Like I seek out opportunities to share knowledge because I don't think that I should have all this knowledge just stored up in me. I think that I got it for a reason and I should share it. And I just love to learn. So any chance that I have to be able to inspire and encourage somebody else to continuously learn or pursue higher education, I'm all about that conversation. And I try to help persons find opportunities where they could obtain scholarship opportunities, because I've been so fortunate that some of the education that I was able to achieve, I've been able to get those through scholarships. And one in particular is the Women in Kanban group, where I was able to apply for a scholarship to actually have training to become a pro Kanban trainer. And that has opened up so many doors as far as knowing more about Kanban and what it's all about and how it can assist organizations and individuals. And it's been a tremendous blessing. So I don't know if you were able to achieve any scholarships, or if you could tell our listeners about opportunities that you know about where they could possibly seek out scholarship opportunities.
Mm-hmm. Well, yes, I just like you, I have received the Women in Kanban scholarship last year. It was a wonderful experience, and I know that they have one, I think it's twice a year or something like that. So I would encourage everyone to take a look and see when it's coming out again, prokanban.org, and that's a good one to sign up for. There's also the Women in Agile scholarships. I haven't actually received one from there, but I know that they also send out one twice yearly. So I think that's a great opportunity for persons to sign up and get to learn more within the Agile space. There are some other places I know, I can't remember right now, that do scholarships. So just as you take the opportunity to go and learn more about Agile, you might see some popping up in your search feed or here on LinkedIn, or I can share them when I see others come out. But it's really a great opportunity, and I myself will be open to offering anyone a scholarship, providing that, they want to get an understanding of Agile and use it in their environment. Just send me a message and I will see how we can assist you.
That's wonderful. That's so wonderful, Kimberly. I also assist persons with scholarships or funding for agile training. But you mentioned women in agile, and actually I've obtained 2 scholarships from women in agile. So so I can tell
Oh,
you
nice.
personally that that organization really goes out and assists persons. But the one main thing that you have to do is apply for the scholarship, because
Mm-hmm.
it's always a 50-50 chance. And when I got the second scholarship just last year, that was for me to attend the PMI Global Summit in Atlanta. So they don't only do scholarships for if you want to do certifications or some kind of training, they also assist you if you want to attend a conference, and they give you funds towards paying for your conference tickets. So that's something to consider as well. If
Mm-hmm.
you're thinking about attending an event, like Tiffany mentioned, the Scrum Alliance Global Scrum Gathering in New Orleans that's coming up. If you wanted to attend that, you could have put in for a scholarship with Women in Agile and see if they would accept your submission, and then you may be a successful scholarship recipient. I know I am going to keep applying because there's always something that I want to attend or some training I want to pursue, and it's always a 50-50 chance. They can say yes
Yeah.
or they can say no. But you'll never know until you have the courage to actually put in the application and have your name in the ballot box so that you could be a recipient of a scholarship. And it's an awesome way to advance yourself personally and professionally, because
Mm-hmm.
the more knowledge you can obtain, the better for you. And knowledge is one thing no one can ever take from you. So I'm an advocate for continuous learning. I love to learn. I actually learned a new word this week. It's called blurred. I don't know, Tiffany. You ever heard that word before? A
It
blurred.
sounds weird.
Yeah, I was told it's up for a black nerd. So
Oh, wow.
I accept that one. I'm a blurred, and I love to learn. So I'll continue being a blurred all of my life. So I really want to encourage everyone who's listening. If you want to reach out to myself or Kimberly to learn more about how you can possibly join Women in Kanban, apply for the scholarship, join us as professional Kanban trainers. And Kimberly, I almost missed out the fact that I am so proud to hold the title that I'm the first professional Kanban trainer in the Caribbean. And you're the second professional Kanban trainer in the Caribbean. So I think us two together, we need to really
Yes.
increase our numbers and have more
Mm-hmm.
women in the Caribbean becoming professional Kanban trainers, because we don't want to just be the 2 unicorns out in this world
Yeah,
doing our thing. We want to encourage more women to join us and reap the benefits of being a professional Kanban trainer. So I think we
I
have that
totally
awesome
agree.
task of 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 increasing our numbers. We don't want to be 1 and 2. We want to have a whole collection, a whole portfolio of qualified, educated women who are leading the charge in the Caribbean to bring awareness of agility and the awesome power behind agile ways of working.
Mm-hmm.
So, Kimberly,
And I know you said so, Andrea, just to note there quickly that it's not, even with the, as you said, the PKT
mhm,
trainers here in the Caribbean, it's not just for companies or persons who are practicing Agile. Kanban, it's not specific to a particular type of framework, etc. So it can be applied to even waterfall, traditional project management, or whatever have you. So don't feel like, okay, it's not in my company's wishes to do Agile, so I don't need to learn that. Still go and check it out because it can be applied to any particular type of style your company is adopting or using. So don't
mhm.
let that deter you at all.
I agree with you wholeheartedly, Kimberly. And even so, I whenever I learn a new skill or a new skill set or some type of training, I always use my daughter as a guinea pig and I teach it to her. And
Mm-hmm.
so when I was doing my training to become a professional Kanban trainer, I used her, and she loves to play twig, and she grasped the concept of flow so quickly. I was just amazed because she realized that she had to
Mm-hmm.
get the meeples on the right card to produce value and get as much cards to done or to the finished state as possible. And when I
Yeah.
when I do my training, I always mention my daughter, and I said, well, if a 12-year-old could understand some of these basics of the principles of Kanban and how it's so important to stop starting and start finishing, and to reduce your work in progress and to just focus on getting your work done. It's like, okay, we can apply this in everything. Like, this is so applicable to real world life skills that everybody needs, not just in an organization, but to know that you are more efficient, effective in the way that you work if you could have some
Agreed.
type of predictability in your system. Like, don't take on something if you don't have capacity. That's basic understanding of how you work. Like, why would I say, well, give me more work if I have a desk full of work? Like, I can't do it. You just don't have the capacity. So it's some of those basic principles that I think are very relatable, and they can apply to primary school students, junior high school students, senior school students. Before you even enter the workforce, you should be developing
Yeah.
this way of thinking so that you could reduce the possibility of experiencing burnout. Because one of the main
Burnout is
things,
real.
yeah, one of the main things we don't really teach is that how to say no, and that no is a complete sentence.
Yeah.
We are in a culture where we are people pleasers. We want to give the perception that we're superhuman, and that we could do it all. Just give me the work and I'll get it done. And then when it piles up and we can't do it, we want to have a breakdown. So we have to know what our limitations are, what capacity we're working with, how much we can do realistically, and how to be open and honest with our communications. And I think a lot of persons, when I talk to them, when I do training, one of the biggest problems that they have is that they don't know how to talk to their bosses. Like, they don't know how to tell their supervisors that they can't take on any more work. Like, they don't know how to say no. And I don't know if you experience that when you're doing your training, but I think one of the key things that we need to start focusing on is the art of communication, and
Yeah.
how to not be perceived as an angry, aggressive Black woman if you just speak the truth. If you speak the truth and say, this is what I'm dealing with, I can't take this on, and not to come across as somebody who's angry and bitter and disgruntled, then we'll be doing so much better in the way that we work with people, because then communication is the top skill above everything else. People have to learn how to communicate better, and not every conversation has to be weird. It just has to be done. And
But Andrea, they said the proof is in the pudding. So if you are having problems or trying to build up that willpower to communicate to your boss, then show the numbers. Let whatever radiators you have going on within your company, whether it is a Jira board, the Kanban board, wherever you have that information situated, or whatever dashboards, let them speak for itself. Put it in front of your stakeholders. And if they don't understand what the metrics are saying, then explain it. And I think in explaining that, they can't beat back data, right? So those numbers and everything that you have, let those be your communication radiators, and then you have to do the least amount of explaining, because they're not going to argue with reality. They might try, but any day reality is reality. So for persons who are having that difficulty, they really need to really radiate how things are in reality. If they can't do it verbally, show it. Some persons are visual learners, and use those numbers as great visuals to help carry your message across.
yes, that's what we say in Kanban as well. Like, let the data tell the story. But sometimes people will be seeing these dashboards and all this information and still feeling as though persons are superhumans. So
Yeah.
we just have to be better at communicating.
Have to create a balance.
Yes. And make sure that we know our limitations, because we want to be very productive, but in the same token, we have to be respectful of people's mental health, and have those conversations where Agile focuses on individuals and interactions over the processes and tools. So whilst we want to know the process and the tools, we have to have those interactions with individuals, and it starts with great communication. So, Kimberly, that brings us to the end of our chat. I want to give you a few seconds just to say final words.
Okay, well, I'd just like to thank everyone for listening in. As noted before, if there's anything you need, sounding board on, if you want to get further information on what's Agile or Kanban or any of these things, feel free to reach out here on LinkedIn or at kimberlyforde.com or agilitymatrix.com, and I'll be happy to assist.
Well, thank you so much, Kimberley, for being my special guest on episode 2 of Marching
Thank
Forward
you
with
for having
Flow.
me.
Yes, I'm sure that we'll be collaborating on a few projects in the near future. I look forward to working with you and to seeing how we can use our collaborative sphere of influence to bring awareness of agility to the Caribbean region. Thank you so much, Kimberley, and thank you to
All right,
everyone who
thank you,
joined us
Tim.
today and who are listening, and have a great day.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye.